Before I joined Cashflow Tribe, I would go to these meetups and nothing really changed. There was no accountability, which is one thing that's really core to Cashflow Tribe. Not only did you have this intense sense of community, but you also had accountability.
I was working for somebody else that was not me. Okay, this 9-to-5 rat race that I'm trapping, I don't like it. I know something is bigger there for me.
Cashflow Tribe has been some serious practitioner information that I was able to tap into. I knew I needed to take it to a higher level.
Cashflow Tribe was Canadian, and that's what really kind of moved me more towards them. This is exactly the kind of group and people that I want to be part of.
If somebody's losing in one of my deals, I don't want to do the deal. If I cannot have my partners to win on the deal as well, I don't want the deal.
My name is Douglas.
My name is Tish.
My name is Alex, and I am.
And I am.
And I'm Cashflow Tribe.
Cashflow Tribe.
Cashflow Tribe. Huh.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome one and all. I hope you're doing well. Today is Wednesday, which means this is another masterclass brought to you by your boy. I hope you're doing super well. Look, I don't know where it is where y'all are, but outside is looking so good. Man, it is 17 and San Diego, California, sunshine, sunny. It's looking good. I don't know about where y'all at, but man, I'm looking forward to the warm weather. I know it's crazy right now with everything going on, but I hope that things are good. I hope that things are well or getting better, or you're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. Whatever the circumstance or situation, hope you're doing well. For those who don't know me, my name is Daniel Blakegrove. I'm going to be the host of today's masterclass. What I look to do is essentially bring people on, people just like you, or people who are once in your shoes, who have done deals, looking to do deals, interested in doing deals when it comes to real estate investing. And I just bring them on so that they can explain their story, explain the circumstance with regards to specific topics. And so I want y'all to do me a favor. If you are on the stream and you are in the chat, just tell me where you're from, where you're tuning in from. I gotta say hi to a lot of people in the house. We got Jan Carpenter in the building. Steve, what's up, my man? Tom Falkins, Ian Jack, what's up, my man? Hope you're doing well. From Airdrie, Alberta. I've never heard of that spot. That's good for me to know. Man, Airdrie, Alberta. I love it. I love it. Sounds like there's mountains over there. I could be wrong, though. We got Liam from Ottawa. Hey, Derek, what's up, man? From Ottawa. Caden in BC. I love it. I love it. We got just I'll just give it another minute here before I officially get started, because I want people who are tuning in to make sure they get the juice. If you are tuning in and maybe you can't make it all, or maybe you're coming in late, I got you on the replay. Don't you worry about it. I got y'all covered. Alan from Toronto. Tom says he's from South River. Where is South River, man? I gotta know, Tom, but that's awesome. I love it. I love it. I love it. So today's particular topic is going to be about doing deals virtually. Okay, I think this is super important. And the reason why is because many people might think with COVID and with staying home and all these different circumstances and situations that are not normal in terms of being able to just walk to a house or to knock on a door. You know, what's up, Daniel Galbat? We also got, Tom Falkins says from near North Bay. That's awesome. Divyang from Toronto. Love it. Keep those comments coming, guys. I want to welcome you. But, yeah, with these circumstances, it could be very interesting to figure out how can you do deals, right? Regardless if it's in your backyard or in another city, right? Today, I got a special guest because he's actually going to be talking about doing it completely virtual. No, not seeing the house, nothing from start to finish. And I got a little surprise for you. I'm going to bring it on once I bring him to the call. Chantel from Ottawa. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. It's 6:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in Ontario. So I'm going to go ahead and bring on the slides. All right. So, but before I do, I want to know real quick. Are you brand new to Cashflow Tribe? Okay, you might see my shirt here. On my end, it looks backwards. I might have to do something a little different here, but Cashflow Tribe, let me know if you're brand new. Cashflow Tribe is a real estate investing community where we help you, give you the tools, the resources, and the network so that you can be able to do your first or your next deal. All right. So if you are an individual who is learning, getting knowledge and information, but you're looking to really do a deal within the next 12 months, hey, man, I got some news for you. Cashflow Tribe is looking to come alongside you and help you with that. More on that later. But I see about 28, maybe 30% of people they're brand new to Cash Flow Tribe, I want to welcome you. There are 4 main pillars, 4 main core values that I would say that really make up Cash Flow Tribe. The first one is community. We're all about the people here. We have over 3,000 people on cashflowtribe.com. It's a growing social network of investors who are looking to do deals. So if you don't know, hope you grab an account there. The second one is results. All right. Another core value is results. We're going to talk deals. We're going to talk action. We're going to talk game plan. But we are so big on results. Another thing is transparency. We want to give you the real. We want to give you the numbers, give you the facts, the pros and the cons. Because real estate isn't something that's just a magical and happens for everybody. No, it takes courage and it takes those who work. And then the last one is impact. I almost lost it. Impact. It's all about helping not just you, but those around you, those who matter to you, and the things that matter to you. That's what we're all about. All right. So with that said, I'm gonna go ahead and bring on the presentation. Let me know if you can see it in the chat. I got my special guest. His name is Cali. Daniel, my t-shirt is the right way. Great, because it's the wrong way on my own self-view. So that's good to know. As long as it's the right way on your end, that's all that matters. I love it. We got Ursud. We got guys from Saga City. If y'all don't know, I'm pretty sure he's talking about Mississauga, which is indeed a city. Man, they got a lot of people in the mug. Marla from Windsor. What's up, Marla? Hope you're doing super well. From the Council Mastermind. Hope you're doing fantastic. That's awesome. Kaden can see it. Perfect. All right. How Cali flips houses using only his phone, and his laptop, which is what I'm on right now. All right. So what I need y'all to do me a solid favor. If you can just turn off the distractions, put your phone on DND, maybe, put your kids to sleep, maybe do something so you can stay focused, so you can get all the goods that my man Cali is going to bring to the table today. If you have questions, I encourage you, I implore you, please put them in the chat, because the only injustice is the injustice of not having your questions answered on today's call. All right. I see Sarah Fram in the virtual building. Sarah, I hope you're doing well. I'm looking forward to having a chat with Cali. He's an awesome human being doing big things, and it's going to be awesome. All right. So like I said, for those who don't know me, my name is Daniel Blakegrove. Out of 3,000 Cash Flow Tribe members, I am number 7. They say the early bird gets the worm, and so I came hungry. I'm also the host of The Pitch, brought to you by Cash Flow Tribe. It's like a Dragon's Den style show. We just completed season 1. Season 2 is on the horizon. Really looking forward to doing that. I'm also a part of the Council Mastermind. It is a group that not just me, but also Cali is in. You see Marla Coffin in the comments. She's also in there, as well as Derek is in the comments as well. Ian is in there as well. Few members in the Council Mastermind. It's a group where we just come together with ideas, with purpose and passion, and put it to work in business so that we can take our real estate game to the next level. And so I've been doing this since 2019. It's been awesome. Still looking to do far more, and it's been an awesome journey. But with that said, I got to bring on the special guest of the hour. His name is Cali Braithwaite. He's a real estate investor, also a licensed tradesman. He's been investing since he was working as a steam fitter in the oil fields of Alberta. I know some people are from Alberta in the comments, so big up yourself. Cali knows Alberta very well. His portfolio consists of rentals, flips, pre-construction condos, and wholesale deals in the form of assignments. His biggest win to this day, and hey, maybe has a bigger win, I have to ask him when he comes on, but his biggest win is generating enough revenue so that he can quit his job and go full-time into real estate investing. So if y'all need some encouragement, I want you to be very encouraged. Cali was a steam fitter in Alberta. He was traveling back and forth, doing several different jobs. And even while doing that, he was able to work on his real estate portfolio. So be encouraged. He is not just some special among us. Trust me, I'm not disrespecting Cali. He's an amazing human being. But let this be an encouragement that you can do it too. You just got to have the same mindset that Cali has and the same work ethic that Cali has to get the same results that Cali has gone. And so he's also a mentor in training for the Council Mastermind with the goal of doing 12 houses to flip and 12 houses to assign. Should have said signing, not assigning, not signing 12 deals. But with that said, Cali, if you are here with us, please turn your camera on and welcome to the stage, Cali Braithwaite. How you doing, man?
My man, what an intro. I'm loving the energy here, man. I was like, didn't know if I should come on because I just felt like watching. Thanks a lot, man.
Hey, the pleasure is all mine. Guys, in the chat, let Cali feel the love, all right? Let him know that he is in the building, that you can see him. You can see his smiling face. I'm really looking forward to this conversation. All right, so I want to, while y'all are in the chat, let me just go over a real quick recap, all right? What is the purpose of these calls? Guys, it's very simple. So many of you are looking to do your first or your next deal, but it is so challenging. And trust me, in a hot market like this, where everybody wants $1 million for their house and everybody's getting 20 to 30 offers on their listing, it may be very difficult to find a real deal. Maybe it's even just buying a deal. That's a daunting task. But here's what I want you to be encouraged by. Everything takes one step at a time. It's not just one big hop. It is a small step that will help you to make progress. And if you can do that consistently, day after day, night after night, whether it's sunny or it's raining, no matter what the weather is, no matter how you're feeling, if you could just show up and do the right thing every day, it is only a matter of time that you will be able to accomplish your goal. And so today, we're going to be talking on that with regards to doing deals, regardless if it's in a COVID market or a virtual market. Cali is going to bring some knowledge and some golden nuggets, and I'm really looking forward for you to be elevated in your real estate game. All right. So listen, I'm going to get right into it. All right. Enough blibber blabbing. Let's get right to it. Cali, I have to challenge you on this, okay? Because I'm looking out my window right now, okay? You see me looking out my window.
I see you, brother.
I see houses across the street, all right? I see houses down the street, okay? Why do houses virtually? Why? Talk to the people.
Well, why not? I mean, it's kind of like, you know, I think of it almost like the stock market, right? I want to buy Coca-Cola stock, let's say, or Pepsi. I don't need to go to the headquarters to buy their stock. I know that Coca-Cola has a fundamental process, a system that works. I know that I can invest in that company and not have to physically go and be there to drink Coca-Cola. It's the process that I'm investing in, right? Or the company, the brand. So for me, it didn't start that way. How it started for me was kind of not by accident, but by circumstance. So because I was going back and forth working in Alberta, I had actually bought my first income property when I was here in Ontario, but I bought it in an area, actually it was in Oshawa, and this particular townhouse condominium that I invested in, I really liked the fundamentals there and I wanted to get more. So I would always kind of, you know, watch on the MLS and realtor.ca and different sites and see like what's going on. At that time, I had no like off-market connections or ways to do things. This is roughly 10 years ago, right?
Right.
And I just remember, like, you know, while I was at work, you know, I was out away from the family in a place that I didn't really want to be. So I had all this time to like just scrape the internet, right? Look for deals, look at houses. I just really enjoyed that. So eventually I found a property that I liked. And I'm like, okay, well, I can't wait for my 2-week shift to end before I go home and make an offer on this. So how can I make this offer from here? So I called up my realtor. The realtor did a walkthrough for me, sent me a bunch of pictures, and I had confidence. I was like, okay, well, let's put an offer in. So I went to the like at that time it wasn't even it was virtual by fax. So I had to get the main admin folks to help me and let me use their fax machine and, you know, provide the documents. I had to sign it and fax it back and all this stuff happening. But I made it work. Right. And eventually I was managing these properties on my own. I was, you know, so getting used to property managing from a distance, it wasn't that difficult. It at least the level of property management that I was doing, which worked, you know, like all my tenants always paid, they were always happy, and I was always happy. But I found ways to kind of make things work from a distance, and it gave me confidence to continue to do it. And I did that several times. And now in the last like year and a half, I'm realizing that, hey, what I was doing is a thing now. Like, you know, everyone wants to do this virtual thing, but it's kind of, again, just by circumstance that I was introduced to it a little bit sooner than some other people, but it's really not that complicated. It's really not. Like, you know, I think there's people across the country, across the world that are investing in their local markets and they're making money. So why can't we invest in those markets and make money as well, right?
Wow. That's actually phenomenal. I really love that backstory because I don't know how many of y'all caught that, but what you're essentially saying is when you first got started, you were not only going from one city to another in Alberta. No, you were traveling on 2-week shifts from Ontario to Alberta. You weren't just looking at properties from another city. You were looking from a whole different province, right? Is that right?
That's right. Yeah, I was. Thanks to the internet, I was able to do that, man. So.
Yeah, that's incredible. And so one thing you mentioned, I just want to have everybody, so we're all caught up to speed. When you purchased that townhome condominium, right, in Oshawa, you mentioned that it had good fundamentals, right? So for someone who's looking to purchase their first property, what do you mean when you say a property has good fundamentals?
Good question. So I had proof of concept. The price point, so the barrier to entry is always a big thing for me, right? I'm always looking at, like, for my long-term buy and holds, what I can buy at the lowest price that will give me the largest return within my comfort zone. So I know that I can go to, so let me add to that, the largest return, but still have a high probability of appreciation, right? Because there are some markets that you can invest in where the cash flow is very high, cap rates are very high, but the appreciation isn't really there. So by me already having, I think by the first time I did it virtually, I already had 2 of these identical units that I had owned. So I had confidence, right? I had confidence in the building. I ended up becoming a board of director on the condo board, like, because I was involved. I wanted to, know what's going on, because this is something that I really liked, and I wanted to, like, double, triple, 10x it, right? The tenants, I was able to work out a pretty neat arrangement with a certain tenant profile. So there was confidence there to know that there was more of this type of tenant that I could rent to. And then the building itself, right? Just the property management. So one thing with condos is I have found from personal experience is that the property management is huge, right? As far as what you're exposed to. So I owned a condo townhouse prior to buying the ones that I had as investment. And there was all this drama with the property management, not paying things on time, not keeping up to date with their reserve fund studies, which should be done every 3 years, as just to keep everything in line and make sure that, all the engineering and all the structural things are in place. And that affected me when it was time to sell. So going forward, anytime I got involved in a condo, I always made sure that I was also kind of checking out the property manager, because the property manager and the board of directors had played a big role in whether, like, the resaleability of that property, right? And
right.
My biggest fear, because I was always, like, the margins were always razor thin. Again, these were on market, not off market. So I just didn't want any surprises, like special assessments that are something that you hear about sometimes with condominiums, where, the homeowners will have to come up with a lump sum of money in the event that there's a major expense or something unexpected that's not in the reserve fund. So just having that in mind, I just wanted to play it as safe as possible.
Absolutely. No, that makes the perfect sense. And so I think what's really, really, really good to know here is that it's possible to buy houses regardless if it's across the street or across the country, because we have something called the internet. You mentioned it. It's the ability for us to do things that are not just within arm's reach. And so we're going to continue to go into the details of what that looks like. Here's one thing I want everybody to recognize. Before I go to today's goal, I actually got a shout out. I think his last name was Auguste. He said he put his kids on D&D. That's what I like to hear. That's awesome. That's phenomenal. I love it. Okay.
Too.
So today's goal, listen, even if you're looking to buy across the street, that is okay. You absolutely can do so if you believe that it serves and fits your goals, right? For people who are in Toronto or in Vancouver or in some really, really priced out markets, perhaps buying in those towns may not be the best fit for you. But here, I want you to know that regardless of if you're doing it across the street or across the country, you absolutely can. It's just a matter of doing it in a strategic way and a systematic way, which Cali will be showing you exactly what that looks like. All right, so let's talk about this. Cali, we know you can buy houses through referrals or flyers or realtors. Maybe you're posting ads on Kijiji, or maybe you're using Google ads or whatever the case may be. But for Cali, how does Cali find deals in another city, or better yet, another province?
Man, all of the above. I have really, so it started out through realtors, right? And that's how, as I mentioned, I did my first few deals was like through realtors, through myself, just scraping the internet, finding the areas, the markets that I was really interested in and that I liked I liked the fundamentals, the employment, the vacancy rates, the future growth, things like that are really attracting me to those areas. I found that, as I got more advanced, in the last year or so, when I started investing in myself and getting the confidence to know that, hey, you know what, there is this off-market world. And so prior to this, I was always like looking for these realtors who will put you on their list for foreclosure homes. They'd have these lists, right? But I never got anything from those lists. I think there were some that actually wanted you to pay to be on these lists. You know what I mean? So anyway, I realized that just by joining a network like Cashflow Tribe, the council, man, I mean, I'm looking at the comments here and there's people all over the country, right? So just from this call alone, we could make deals happen all over the country because it's the people, right? It's the who, not the how. And that's what I really realized is that once I joined a network of people that I could like trust and, they say know, like, and trust, then it was easier for me to take advantage of some of these virtual opportunities. And so for me, the biggest, I would say, the biggest, what's the word I'm looking for? Catapult. The biggest catapult to me finding these deals has been the people. So it's the people who have found the deals and brought them to me. And I went ahead and did my own like due diligence. We could talk about that, but I think it's the people 100% for me, for my personal experience.
Right. It's about power to the people and them really coming alongside you with knowing your goals, knowing what kind of houses you're looking to buy and making those opportunities come to life. And then you just seizing it. Then from that point, it's just you taking it on and doing what Cali does. That's really cool. And so let's say you got the property. All right. You've done your due diligence. You know it works, but now you got to get the money. Do you go to a traditional lender? Do you use a private lender? Does Cali have his own money that he's using? How did you go about getting money for a property that you haven't gone to see in person?
Right. So it started out with like the bank, right? Because the bank was cheap. It was all I knew. It was all I was comfortable with. And I did as much as I could with the bank until I got to the point where the numbers just didn't work out anymore with the bank. So then by that time, which is now, because of my experience, I've been able to attract investors. Right. So I from the learning, from the education that I've learned through counsel and, I've learned that, sometimes you have to give up a piece of the pie to get a pie. Right. Because I would have no pie if I went to the bank and they said no, then I would have nothing. Right. So I was like, OK, let me just have
Hold on, man. I got to stop you. That sounded real good. You said sometimes in order to get a piece of the pie, you got to give up some of the pie. Otherwise, you're going to have no pie.
As you can tell, I like to eat, man. I like to eat. So a lot of food analogies. But yeah, honestly, like I did as much as I could with the bank. And then I realized after that, in order to scale, I could only get so far with the bank. So more recently, I've been using privately funded, whether it's from people that I know, like, and trust, who have either just invested with me more or less personally. They're investing in me, not necessarily the project. They're like, hey, Cali, I know you're doing this. I know what's going on. Here's what I want to make on my money over this period of time. Just make me some money. And I'm like, this is awesome because I got the deals. So you have the capital. Let me do my piece and I'll get, again, you can have a piece of the pie. I can have a piece of the pie. We can all enjoy this meal together, right? Wow. So yeah, a mix of that, a mix of private lenders through mortgage brokers, and then bank financing.
Wow. So one thing I really want to point out is super, super important, because this is going to be applicable to whether it's your first deal or your 100th deal. Here's the truth. It's not when it comes to the bank, they're going to look at you and they're going to really determine whether or not you fit their criteria. And there's also going to be private lenders who are going to see the relationship and say, okay, I understand you're looking for money and I understand this property and the numbers make sense, but who is Cali, and do I like Cali? Do I know Cali, and do I trust Cali? Right? So here's the bottom line. It's not about the investment. It's about the investor. All right, guys, I want you to recognize this. It's not about the investment. It's about the investor. Why? Because the truth is, everybody's looking to make money in this equation. It could be the person who is renovating the house, managing the house, funding the house, looking for the house. Everybody's looking to make money. So the reality is, it's not about the house. It's about the relationships, because if you can successfully do this for one project or one property, you will create confidence and build momentum to do the second and the third and the fourth. And so the reality is, you only need so many people in order for you to do a repeat type of business. And so I think what Cali is really talking about here, and correct me if I'm wrong, Cali, you're really looking to double down on relationships, not just simply looking to make transactions. Is that right?
100%. I mean, I like to think of my business the same way the bank does, right? And the bank is looking for, long-term relationships. 5 years, 10 years. They're talking like they want your RSPs, right? They want your RSPs. They want to put you in a product that's going to be 25, however old you are. They want you forever, right? And I think, when I look at working with individuals or businesses, it's the same for me. If the things are going well, I want to maintain that, and I want to keep recycling that. And everybody that I've worked with so far, who has, entrusted in me and things, my capabilities, they've all come back, right? So they're all repeat customers, and that's what I want to continue to do.
And I think that's the goal that I really hope each and every one of us on this call is looking to do. Even if you're just looking to buy 2 houses or maybe 5 houses, it really doesn't matter where your goals are. If you are looking to purchase for retirement, or to quit your job, or to add extra cash flow, or just add to your portfolio and maybe diversify if you're coming from other asset classes, relationships is the key of the game. If they know you and they like you, they will trust you, and they will do so with their money. And so that's a big deal there. Let's move on here, okay? You got the money, all right? Closing day comes, you got the keys. Well, I don't know if you got the keys, because the keys should be in the other province. But regardless, it is your property now. You're on title. Talk to us about managing this project, all right? You're not there, right? But there's other people working on the project. How do you make sure it's up to Cali standards?
It's simple. Maybe it's not simple, but it seems simple, because I've been pretty fortunate to have like a rock star team of people that I've connected with. I've had, I think one scenario where the person that we had doing the work for us wasn't really up to the standard that I had expected or that they had presented when we decided to use them. But we were able to, at the end, when, the job was complete, after a video tour, we were able to identify the things that we wanted to be corrected, and we made sure that those things were corrected before full payment was issued, right? But for the most part, again, it's the people. So you look at the resume, right? Not literally the resume, but you have conversations, you get a feel of their experience. Like some of the people I'm working with, they have, over 20 years of experience. They're like second, third generation in their craft. So that they're not just part-timing and just kind of figuring things out as they go, right? So you pay for that. You pay for that quality. You pay for that peace of mind. But again, piece of the pie versus no pie, right? I like the piece of the pie.
The piece of the pie. Look, like I've heard it said this way: it's better to get half of a watermelon than to have an entire grape. And the truth is, when you recognize the value of partnerships, it's not about people taking away or dividing the pie. It's actually about multiplying the pie. Because if you can add more people who can strategically add value to the project, you should be able to get more out of it and not less out of it, right? Especially when you recognize that your partnerships are about complementation. I totally made that up. I don't even know if complementation is even a word. I have to confirm. You get what I'm saying, right? Imagine Cali is partnering with someone who has a strength that complements Cali's weakness. That is a perfect matchup. It's not just about people just getting into a deal for the sake of getting into a deal. It comes down to strategic partnerships, strategic goals, and then executing according to plan. So let's talk about this. Staying on time, staying on budget, quality control. What are some practical things that you do when it comes to day-to-day operations, when it comes to managing the project?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I'm not really a micromanager. I look to work with the individuals that I know have done these types of things on their own before, or have the ability to do these things on their own. So like, the people that I'm working with, partnering with in these other cities are professionals, right? So I'm working with professionals who know what to do. So I don't really need to micromanage, but as far as like choosing colors, choosing fixtures, I trust the people that I work with. Thankfully, so far my experiences have been really good, where they're able to actually make recommendations to me, like, hey, this is what we used in the last flip that we did, and it cost this much because we go to this wholesaler and the prices are this low, or we found this on Kijiji, or you know what I mean? So I'm more just involved in the bigger decisions, right? Should we or should we not change the bathroom? Should we or should we not do this deck in the back of the house? Should we or should we not finish the basement? And then we just start talking numbers. Usually there's a budget in mind before getting involved in the project. Yep. Always there's a realtor involved, because the realtor is going to let me know, what the value of the property is today, because sometimes there's a wholesale opportunity that we may overlook, especially in today's hot market. So I always get the realtor involved day one, as soon as I get the keys and we have access, because a lot of these deals are bought off market. So I don't have an opportunity to get the realtor in there before we close on it. Right. But I get the realtor in there with the contractor. They do a walkthrough. Realtor gives some suggestions as to, hey, this is what you can do. And based off of that, they say, well, this is what the price range that you can get if you do X, Y, Z. And I just go from there. So I just have to make the decision as to, okay, how extensive of a rental do we want to get involved in? What's going to be the, the highest return on our capital, and what's the return on time as well, right?
100%. And I think the beauty of what you're saying here is, if you don't have to micromanage and the work can get done, that is the beautiful partnership there. Because here's the truth, Cali, as you are doing one project, right? You're going to be a type of person who wants to do multiple projects. And the way you do one project is not the way you do multiple projects. You got to be able to do it in such a way where not your time isn't completely sucked up going on a tour of one property to another property to another property. But the beautiful thing about doing this virtually is it forces you to have to stay where you are, because realistically speaking, especially in the COVID market, it can be very difficult, unless you really got that shmoney, to fly on a plane and go from city to city to city to see all your different properties. The truth is, you have to have systems, you have to have relationships, and you got to have a level of trust with accountability to make sure that is done. Would you say that is correct, or how would you say it differently?
Yeah, I would definitely say that it's correct. It's, I always like to look at multiple exit strategies, especially if it's a project that I'm doing from a distance. If it's something that I'm involved in and I'm the guy, I'm managing the trades locally, I'm buying this thing locally, I found it, I'm doing from X to, or from A to Z, then I'm willing to take a little bit more risk, because I have more confidence in a market that I'm more familiar with, because it's closer to home. I mean, worst case scenario, if I have to sell my house and go live in that house, I could do that. You know what I mean?
You'll do what it takes.
That's not the plan, but it's always good to know that, my investors are well protected. You know what I mean? Yep. So in other scenarios like these virtual deals, I'm always looking at, okay, what is the flip exit? How about the conversion exit? So adding a second suite. How about the wholesale exit? How about the buy and hold exit, right? So I'm talking to property managers to get an idea of, what the rents are, what the demand is. I'm talking to realtors, like more than one, to get feedback from unbiased feedback from ones that have no interest to like sway me either way, right?
Right.
And once the numbers like match there, then it gives me more confidence. I mean, I can go online and check certain statistics and data, but I find those are really good resources. I just find that quite often they're a little dated. So when I'm looking to buy, some of that data is not as accurate or as current as the people on the ground who are actually doing the deals and in the weeds, right? So I like to actually talk to the people who are local, who understand the market. And then also it helps to talk to realtors who are investor focused as well, right? Because then they understand what I'm looking for as an investor, and the conversation just seems to be a little bit better.
I think the reality is this is something that you can either learn by doing mistakes or you can learn from others. And this is exactly why I brought Cali on, because I can imagine, Cali, that you've had some mistakes. You're not just speaking from pure bliss of like, I did everything right. There are probably some things that you've really learned and you're speaking from that experience. And so, guys, if you have questions, man, I am loving this chat. Yo, light up the chat, man. I love it. I love this back and forth discussion. This is what it's all about when it comes to community. I need y'all to share perspectives so that we can continue to be challenged, maybe strengthened, or maybe have an opportunity to change our perspective so that we can grow together. I love it, man. Shout out to Ethan. Did I say Ethan? Ian. I saw Ian and Nathan at the same time, so I said Ethan. Nathan, Ian, Jan Carpenter, Tanya Blakely. I see some questions in the comments, which I love. So keep those questions coming. We're absolutely going to get Cali to answer them coming soon. All right, let's keep it going. Let's go to some case studies, okay? I understand the theory. I understand you're talking from a high point of view, but let's get to the nitty-gritty numbers. Let's talk about the situation. So here's what we're going to do, okay, Cali? You're going to break down the situation. I'm going to put it on screen for all of us to see, okay? I'm going to type it on so we can all follow with you. So is there a practical deal, whether it's a recent deal or a first deal, that has been virtual that you can walk us through?
Yeah, man. I'll talk about, because I'm a big supporter of investing in yourself and joining a network, right?
Yep.
So I'll give an example of when I joined Council. So Council, for you guys who don't know, is Cash Flow Tribe. How is it worded, Daniel? An exclusive,
an elite Cash Flow Tribe. Oh shoot, I don't even know.
Elite, yeah. Elite Cash Flow Tribe community.
Mastermind.
Mastermind. There you go. All right. Cool.
Dennis gonna get on us about that one.
Right. It's all good. So I was really on the fence before doing it because it was a lot of money, but I realized that, hey, you know what? I'm worth it. And it's what's the worst that could happen, right?
Wow, you said you're worth it. That's huge. That's a mindset thing right there. I love that. That's a whole other show, but we'll keep going.
Right. So just real lightly there. So anyway, I decided to invest in myself, right? And when I joined, I didn't know exactly how this was going to look. Were the deals going to be given to me? Is it you sign up and you get deals? Is it so I just realized, hey, you just get in there, start talking to people, introduce yourself, and, see how I can add value and see how others can add value to what I'm doing, right? So I had access to some capital and I was ready to invest. And as I was doing my discovery calls, I got on a call with one individual and we're talking. And then all of a sudden, their partner would join the call. We were on a conference call. They're talking about this deal they had that they were looking for financing. And it was a deal in Windsor. It was in a student rental neighborhood. And the purchase price of this property was $150,000. And the deal was that, they just needed somebody to come up with $150,000, and they already knew based off their realtor that it could sell for around $190,000, doing nothing, just as is, right? So to me, I was like, okay, well, we split this. That's cool. 50-50. I have to come up with 150. Why don't I try it out? What's the worst that could happen here, right? So I had the capital. I put the money in. So $150,000 purchase price. It ended up selling for $200,000 within a week. So it's funny because I bought the property before it closed. We had already had it sold to a buyer. So I had to sign a purchase and sale agreement for a future date after I became like, it was like conditional to me becoming the owner. You know what I mean? So it's like a no-brainer, right? So I did that. We paid the realtor. I think they got 5% plus HST. So you can do the numbers on that. Like, I guess that's what on 200,000. Basically myself and the partner, we split the profit, right? So then It was like, wow, this is cool. This is what it's like. These are the people that are in the room. And then I had another deal in Windsor where somebody else who wasn't part of council, but who saw that I was part of council and saw that I was willing to invest in myself. They were a very experienced investor who had lots of years of flipping, and they saw something in me that they wanted to partner with me on this deal. So the purchase price was $162,000. The renovations, the carrying costs, we'll call it $40,000. And we ended up selling it in a few months. We did a flip, so we sold it a few months later for $270,000. So there was a nice, and we split that, right? We split the profit 50-50. So there was a nice profit margin there as well, right? So that was another one.
Tell us about your most recent deal.
Sure. Okay. So most recent. I actually had one in New Brunswick. This was another virtual one. So I had purchased a off-market deal in New Brunswick. That one was, I bought it for $110,000, and I thought the value was around 130, 140. That's what we were working with. But when I had
so you said you bought it for 110, and you sorry, keep going.
So I bought it for 110, and we thought that the fair market value was 130. But remember now, when I'm buying these, by the time the closing date comes, sometimes it's a couple months, so there's time for the market to like go either way. That's the risk, right? It's not always guaranteed to go up. So anyway, basically that one there, the market went up. So I bought it for 110. We were thinking the fair market value was 130. We were prepared to do the renovations, to do the flip, put like 50,000 into it with an ARV of somewhere in the 200 to 220 mark, right? So not a huge margin, but something pretty good. And when we had the realtor come and take a walkthrough, we were pleasantly surprised. The realtor's like, well, you know what? You could probably list this right now for 165. So I said, all right, well, let's try it for a week, see what happens. Worst case scenario, it doesn't sell. We go ahead with the flip as planned, and Bob's your uncle. So anyway, we put it on the market, and within 3 days, it sold for 160. So that was like a really good, what we call a wholesale, right? So a lot of these virtual things as well are not just flips. If I can get in and out really quickly, I think there's nothing wrong with that, right? So that's like that was like I like to call those unicorns. I don't expect those all the time,
right?
But that was a really nice win for us there.
So let's break it down real quick, okay? This New Brunswick deal, man, I think it just goes to show you that, and even in a hot market, right? In a hot market where there's so many prices that are being just driven up, and people are throwing 40, 50, 60 offers on properties, and houses are going to $100,000, $200,000, literally $200,000 over asking. In Toronto, there was a house that went $900,000 over asking. What is happening? This is insane, right? And so, but you can see there are other markets that can still where deals can still be done. You were able to go to New Brunswick and do deals. And so here's the reality, and I think here's a challenge I want to put out to everybody. When it comes to the issue of price, it's only relative to the market you're in. If there is another market that you can explore that fits your goals, what is holding you back from going there? That's the question I have for you tonight. Because you can see Cali, his most recent deal, it was in New Brunswick, where he purchased a property for $110,000. You can see here that the fair market value, so they thought, was 130. But when they sold it without doing the renovations, as is, it got 160. So there are still deals that can be done. It's just a matter of figuring out where, and based on your goals, what makes the most sense, right? And so I really appreciate that, guys. Hope you guys got value from those case studies. Let me just check the whiteboard. Okay, perfect. So listen, I want to know, y'all, who's taking action this week? Let me know in the comments. We're about to get to these questions, let me know, because it really comes down to doing deals. Remember, results is one of our core values. You saw what Cali's been doing, and he's still doing deals. He's still working on things. And so I'm excited for more of what's coming down the pipeline. But really, really hope that you guys are going to take action, because if you don't take action, this whole thing is pointless. All right. What are we here for? Getting real results. So check this out. Like Josh Alice, right? Check this out. He had purchased a property on the MLS for $175K, putting 20K rentals in it, and he's going to be able to rent it out as a rental between $1,700 to $1,700 a month. And I think this is either his first deal or one of his newer deals, which I'm super excited for Josh Alice. Really hope he's doing well. And then there's also a few people who are just doing well, right? Stephen Farrell taking action. We also got Lem, which is, man, he is doing phenomenal. Really love the work that he's doing in our community. And so it just goes to show you absolutely can get in on this action if you are taking action. You have to do the steps. Remember what we talked about earlier today. It's all about one step at a time, guys. I'm not asking you to do what Cali's done next week. I'm asking you to do what you can do if you put consistent effort to it, right? And so this is what Cashflow Tribe is here for. It is a community that helps you with a course library where you're able to see some of our best courses on several different topics. We have our community of over 3,000 members who you can network with, get access to mortgage brokers, lawyers, accountants, people who are renovators, contractors, people who are real estate agents. Whatever you need, you not only get the education, but you can get the network and you can get the contacts, right? And so on top of that, we have weekly trainings every week where we go over several different real estate topics so that you can stay in the know, stay up to date, and get the information as it comes. All right. What Cashflow Tribe is not simply one of those courses that were done 2 years ago. No. This is literally live on Zoom every single week, week after week after week after week. And so really looking forward for y'all to join. It's very simple. I'm going to give it to you straight, guys. There's 3 memberships, all right? You can get the yearly membership for only $588, guys. For the whole year, you'll be able to get access to all the live trainings and all the courses, everything that we put on for only $588. It's an amazing offer, if you ask me, because this is what catapulted me to where I'm doing today. Cali, what he's been doing, and so many others in the comments, so many people who are here watching can attest to the value that Cashflow Tribe brings. And so if you are brand new, for the 28% of you who said you're brand new, I want you to know the Cashflow Tribe wants to come alongside you and help you out. Let's say $588 isn't working for you. You ain't got the money to really to fork up. Hey, look, you got the $59 per month membership. Do that. And even if you're just learning, I don't know if even real estate's for me yet. All right, that's cool. We got a free membership for you so that you can check it out and get all the information that you need to take it to the next level. Cali mentioned one thing which was really important. When he was going through his case studies, he was talking about how he invested in himself, how he joined the council mastermind, wasn't sure what the whole ROI was going to be. But listen, Cashflow Tribe is the company that's going to really help you get to the next level. If you are interested in joining Cashflow Tribe and becoming a member, all I need you to do is to text Sarah at 226. You see the number up top, 226-605-0463. You can absolutely contact her because I actually have a special goodie for y'all for those who take action. If you are a new or a monthly member, I encourage you to grab a yearly mastermind membership, because if you do so, you will get a mastermind experience ticket for free. For free. It is worth $350, but you will get it for free so that you can get to the next level as fast as possible. That's what I'm really, really hoping for you guys to do. So this is our best offer. The first person who signs up for an annual membership will get $250 off and a complimentary mastermind ticket that is valued at $349, where you can hear speakers like Cali and TJ Ainsborough and Mark Smith and other killers in the real estate game, where they can give you their game for a value of only $338 for a whole year. So whoever wants to take that up, I highly recommend you text her, because the first person to sign up and to text Sarah, she's going to hook you up. She's going to take care of you. And hey, who knows? Maybe she might have some discounts for you. That's all. I don't know. That's up to Sarah. Only she can tell you, but I will definitely have her take care of you, and she will set you up good. All right. For those who don't know, I paid $5,000 to be at this event at one point because this was in person. They had to cover the cost of the hotel, the food, and the parking and all that kind of stuff. So I paid $5,000 back when I first started, and it's only $588 for you to be a part of a 2-day mastermind experience. I'm really looking forward for those who are going to join. It's only for those who are looking to take it to the next level. And so really, really love that. All right, enough libber babbing. I'm not trying to make no huge sales pitch. Let's get right to the questions, all right? Right to the questions. And if you have any questions, definitely text Sarah at the number you see above. She'll definitely set you up. All right, Cali, are you ready to get hit with these questions?
Let's do it, man.
All right, all right. So Fritzler, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. You said, do you, Cali, use a broker when you're looking for finance, or are you doing all of these on your own?
It's a mix. So there's not just one or the other. It depends on the specific deal, the amount of money that I need, and the terms, right? So I've done all. I've done with a broker who's connected me through private financing. I've used brokers to connect me with bank financing. And I've raised capital on my own. I've gone to the bank or the credit union or the lenders on my own. So yeah, it's a mix.
Cool. And so when it comes to you, would you say that it really depends on the deal, or are you just going to them regardless of what you're looking to buy?
It depends on the deal, right? I'll give you just a case study of I think brokers are great. I think you should definitely use a broker if you're just getting started out, because they can do the shopping around for you. So get a broker that you have maybe has been referred to you, or someone who's like familiar with what you want to do. My very, very first purchase, I went to my bank directly, and the bank, based off how they were calculating things at the branch level, they were actually only able to qualify me for, let's call it $150,000, right? And I went through a mortgage broker, and through the broker channel, through the same bank, they were able to qualify me for like $175,000. This is just an example. I don't remember the exact numbers, but they were able to get a lower interest rate through the broker channel, which to me was like, I was a little bit caught off guard, right? But it makes sense. It's wholesale retail. So the broker business is bringing millions of dollars of business to the bank or the lender that they're working with on a daily basis, where when I go to the bank, I'm just one retail customer, right? So things have changed, I think, since then. But back, I would just say, if you can, the broker is definitely your friend.
And the reality is, like you said, there are options out there. It really just comes down to making sure there's alignment, right? Which is really good. Ian Chadwick, all right, check this out, all right? He says private money rates are too high. Cali, I've been quoted between 8 to 15% plus a 2% fee. So when Ian says this, I want you to address him. What would you say to Ian when he makes this statement?
Ian, I was in your shoes not too long ago, man. I definitely used to think like that, but I realized that when you have a deal, that's a deal. And depending on what you're looking to do, so like I'm using this more expensive money for flips. If it's something that I'm holding on to, then yeah, I don't want to be paying high rates like that. But if it's a flip and I know that my profit margin is, let's say, 30,000, and by having a higher rate of, instead of 3%, if the rate on $200,000 over a very short period of 3 to 6 months is going to cost me in dollars, maybe $5,000 more. Well, to me, it just makes sense because I can get the deal done. Whereas if I'm fighting over getting a really low interest rate, I may lose out on that deal by the time the bank approves it, or the bank may not even approve it. So I used to be right where you were, looking at rates and saying, oh, I can't do that, I can't. But now I think I've realized that when you have a deal, you just look at the dollars, right? Look at the actual dollars. What is it costing you?
And here's a follow-up question. He says, if you're looking for off-market properties, how much below market value are you looking at to profit from the flip?
So typically for me to consider a flip, I want to know that I can make $30,000 on that flip within a period of 3 to 6 months. And, ideally I have more than one of those going on at a time. But even with one, I won't get involved for the flip. I may look at it as a wholesale or buy and hold exit strategy. But I won't put extra money into something that the margin is less than that.
That's perfect. Awesome. Love it. Melissa says, do you hire a home inspector given that you are not there physically at the property? And would you do this for peace of mind, or would you do this at all?
That's a good question. So I have had home inspectors get involved in some of the projects. It depends on the scale of the project sometimes, whether or not you need a whether or not I decide that I need a home inspector. Like if we're gutting the whole place, the home inspector, whatever they tell me, doesn't really make a difference because it's going to be gone anyway, right? If I'm getting into, again, like this, a wholesale where, I've already had my trusted trades guy, contractor walk through and just take a look at all the things that would really pop out in a home inspection, and those are not identified as like red flags, then I'm pretty confident to go ahead at this stage where I am in what I'm doing. I'm pretty good to have that conversation with the contractor to gain the confidence to know that maybe we don't need a home inspector every time.
Ian Duncan, all right. Ian Duncan is in this conversation. He's saying, Cali, with regards to wholesaling virtually, can you explain who does your walkthroughs before you make an offer to the seller? How are you connecting and creating your investor list for remote locations, if you are wholesaling, in fact?
Yeah, good question. So I have done some wholesaling campaigns in other markets, and what I've done is I've found people to kind of join my team, and they are local to those areas. So what they'll do is they'll go and we'll schedule walkthroughs for them to do the walkthrough, take some photos. There's a list of like the requirements, a checklist of what I need to see before I can make an offer to the buyer. And any deal that materializes, then I just, from the profit, I pay that person for their time very well.
I think that is definitely something that's probably going to be more adopted over time, especially when you consider not just the housing prices, but being in a market where you're far from where you're looking to invest. Having those boots on the ground is so pivotal. It really comes down to how can you leverage not just your time or your money, but other relational resources, which are people, right? And so 100%.
It's the who. It's the who, not the how, man.
Oh,
it's the who, not the how.
Cali, you're dropping a big bomb there. It's not the how, it is the who.
That's
wow.
Right. That's right. Yeah.
I love it. All right. So Ian Chadwick also says, what is your average hold time? I'm not 100% on what the context is, but I'm going to guess that if you're holding someone else's capital and you're paying money on it, right? What would you say is your average hold time on the money that you're borrowing?
Really, there's no average, Ian. Because there's a lot of variables, right? So lately I've been doing some scenarios where I have attached the loan to the time frame.
I'm back.
All right.
Sorry. I'm here. We good. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's okay. So I've attached the loan to the time frame in which I think the project will take to be completed from start to finish. Then there's other scenarios where I'm just, borrowing the money for a longer term, whether it be 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. So there's really different scenarios. I can't answer that as like an average, but yeah, it's case by case.
All right, and so Ian says whole time, it was a whole time for properties, right? Okay, cool. Oh, Sarah says that the first upgrade is taken. Congrats to the first texter. She's still got one more upgrade, so definitely hit her up if you're interested. You're not looking to pay that $588. Definitely hit her up. Happy to help you out. Guys, I had an issue with it being virtual. My browser refreshed and I lost the chat. I lost the comments. So even though you can see it on your end, it's blank on mine. So if you got the questions, please repost them. I'm gonna try to remember what I can off the top. But I know there was one particular question I was being asked. I can't remember the person now, but they were saying when it comes to doing deals virtually, what gave you the confidence to do it in the first place? Was it just work related, or did you just take a chance?
Well, again, so the first one, as I was saying, like earlier in the story, it was just kind of circumstance. So I was already familiar with where I was investing. I was just away from where I was investing, but I was going to end up there eventually. So I had comfort in investing. Again, it was in Oshawa. At the time, I was living in Toronto, but I was working in Alberta. So I bought the property in Oshawa while I was in Alberta, but I knew I was coming back to Alberta anyway. So then when I the very first property that I bought in a place that I wasn't planning on ever being was in Thunder Bay. It was a wholesale that I did in Thunder Bay.
Wow.
And the numbers were just right, you know? So, again, I did my due diligence before actually signing on the dotted line. I made sure, again, that I spoke to realtors. I spoke to property managers. I spoke to contractors. I think even like insurance. I think I might have spoke to an insurance company, an appraiser, and then someone who was actually part of Cashflow Tribe, who is now part of council. They reached out to me because I had posted something. I saw them comment on this deal, and they said, "Hey, they're in Thunder Bay." So I reached out to them. We got on the phone, and they were actually helpful enough to go and physically walk around the property with their phone and show me like the street and what's going on with the prop. So like just it's the who, like the people who have that we can tap into, is really I think where a lot of the value is.
Wow, very true. Very true. Good point. We got a few more minutes here, so I'll do some lightning round questions. I got to shout out my admin, Anastasia. She's helping me out with the comments here, so really appreciate her for helping me. All right, let's do some lightning round questions. Answer these questions quickly before we wrap up. Ian Chadwick says, when you raise capital, are you partnering up with them or just finding funds? So I guess this question is, are you splitting equity with them or are you just paying points and interest on it?
Yeah, so Ian, another good question. I'm doing it all. Like I'm still, this has been about a year and a bit of me being an active investor. So when I say active investing, that's like flipping, wholetailing. Somebody asked, what is a wholesale? So a wholesale is wholesale, which is something that is, bought off market from a wholesaler and then sold retail on the market with very little work done. So some people say like less than $5,000 put into the project or $10,000. So just picture Daniel is a wholesaler.
I can actually give you a prime example because I've done one of those deals myself.
Okay, sure.
So I actually bought a property from one of my mentors, and what it is, I bought, it was a house, a single family home in Windsor. I bought the property. When I closed on it, all I did was I brought a dumpster and I emptied the house of its belongings because the people who rented there previously just trashed the place. I took it out, emptied it, swept the floors. That's it. Emptied the junk and swept the floor. So it's just empty. Didn't touch the walls, the paint, nothing. And I relisted it as is. And I made 20 grand within 3 weeks. That's a wholesale. So it's the middle. So you have wholesale, you have retail. And the strategy I did was in the middle. It's called hotel, just something in between the two. Let's keep it going. We'll take two more questions and we'll wrap it up. Let's see here. Ian says it's the Ian show and the Jan Carpenter show. Oh, never mind, she's leaving. Bye. Okay, Ian says, how do you ensure that your virtual purchase doesn't end up being a lemon?
That's a good question. So right now, I think the trick is like Thunder Bay was close to being a lemon. And because of that, I was like, you know what? I don't really like this market. Nothing wrong with Thunder Bay, but just the property itself didn't give me a warm, fuzzy feeling. So then I decided to go to other markets. And right now I'm really enjoying Southwestern Ontario and the Moncton area for investing. So I've had a lot of some good successes there, and you know what? You have to expect that you got to take the good with the bad, right? So I don't expect every deal to be a unicorn or a home run. So I prepare for that, but I don't expect that, but I'm prepared for that. So I just go to the places that I know I've had success, and hopefully I can continue that success in those places if I follow my rules.
And I think the thing you got to recognize as well is when it comes to real estate investing, it is a relationship game. And when you can rely on the expertise of people in the local market, it makes it so much easier for you, because all you got to do is trust them, but verify. Trust but verify. You can take the word because of the experience and the things they bring to the table, but just make sure you and yourself know it. Because you as an investor don't want to take it up for surprise. Because once again, if you're raising the capital, the people who are investing in you are depending on you to make sure you know what you're doing. Right. And so you don't have to know everything. You just got to know the people who know everything and just make sure it all comes together. Right.
Right.
Tanya's saying, come to Kincardine or Kincardine. I actually don't know how to pronounce that one, but all right. Last question. How long did it take you to build the team you have to succeed?
So that's ongoing, but that's a good question. So the team is continuously being built. I'm not finished, just getting started. So there's no real timeline on that. It's just a matter of, one member at a time, one deal at a time, building that, those relationships. It's like, it's a tough question. But I think it's something that it's ongoing. So I'm not finished. I'm continuously, working with people that I know, like, and trust, and building those relationships is going to just continue over time. There's some people that I've only known for a few months. There's some people that I've known for years.
Man, with that said, everybody, this is Cali Braithwaite. I really appreciate you coming on and adding massive value. This was fantastic. Really, really thank you for all the nuts and bolts, man. Guys, let me know in the chat. Would y'all like to see Cali for a part 2? Let me know. And be honest, because I only want to bring you to people that can really add value. It really helped me, I'll tell you that much. I hope it was the case for you. But with that said, I hope that you enjoy the rest of your evening. Stay safe, stay awesome. Continue to check in and tune in. Remember, guys, reach out to Sarah. Reach out to Sarah if you got any questions, anything you need. She will set you up. And Gatlin says we need a part 2. Okay. I'm thinking. All right, great call. All right. I love it. All right. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. Hope you have a fantastic evening. Stay blessed and keep it moving. Until next time. Cheers.
Take care, everyone.